Celtic are in the Scottish Cup final after one of the most dramatic afternoons Hampton has seen in years. We have got the full story on what happened, the incredible reaction from the players afterwards, what Martin O'Neill had to say about the performance, the full 5-game title run-in that will define this season, and a genuinely bizarre moment from the club's official social media that nobody saw coming. Let's get into it. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic are into the Scottish Cup final after a 6-2 win over St Mirren at Hampton on Sunday, but the scoreline tells only half the story. This was a game that swung wildly, tested Celtic's character to its limits, and at one point looked like it could end in disaster. The Hoops were outstanding early on. Dazen Maeda pressed high, forced a mistake inside the very first minute, and Celtic had the lead before the crowd had even settled. Anthony Ralston doubled it just before half-time, and at that stage, Celtic looked fully in control. But the second half was a completely different story. St Mirren refused to go quietly. Mikael Mandron pulled one back, and then deep into stoppage time he struck again to make it 2-2. From a commanding position, Celtic were suddenly heading into extra time, with all the momentum gone and nerves creeping in throughout the whole team. That is where the character showed. Celtic moved the ball faster in extra time, attacked space, and found a completely different level. Kelechi Iheanacho came off the bench and scored twice to put the tie beyond doubt. Luke McCowan added another, and Benjamin Nygren rounded things off to seal a 6-2 victory. Celtic will now face Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup final, managed by Neil Lennon. A day that could easily have gone wrong ended with the Hoops booking a place at Hampton. The journey to get there, though, was a reminder of exactly where this team needs to improve. Now for the main story, as Martin O'Neill has spoken openly about Celtic's performance against St Mirren, and his message was clear. The Hoops cannot keep hanging on in games the way they did on Sunday. O'Neill pointed to a recurring pattern that has defined too much of Celtic's season. The team takes the lead, they settle rather than push on, and they end up inviting pressure that should never have been there in the first place. At Hampton, it cost them. A 2-goal cushion became 2-2, and only extra time rescued the situation. His message was blunt: start fast and then keep going. When Celtic have moved the ball quickly and attacked space with intent, they have been a different side entirely. That was obvious in extra time against St Mirren, when the level visibly jumped and St Mirren simply could not live with the pace of the game. The run-in gives Celtic 5 league games to get this right. Teams will sit deep, stay compact, and wait for the chance to break. If Celtic slow it down and allow the game to drift, the pressure will come. If they move it quickly and keep attacking, they create the gaps they need. O'Neill knows that. He has said it. The squad now has to deliver it consistently because there is no room left for the kind of wobble that almost cost them at Hampton. The title race and a Scottish Cup final are both still very much alive, but Celtic need to be better than they were for long stretches of Sunday. In other news, Kelechi Iheanacho took to Instagram on Sunday night after the game and posted a message that Celtic supporters will take a lot from. The striker, who came off the bench to completely change the tie with 2 goals in extra time, wrote, "Thank you, Celtic fans. We will do our absolute best. There will be light at the end. Stay with us." It was short and genuine, from a player who has been in and out of the squad and is still working his way back to full sharpness. The words felt like a real commitment. This is a group that knows the fans are frustrated. They know the season has not gone the way anyone hoped, and Iheanacho was speaking directly to that. On the pitch, his impact on Sunday could not have been more timely. When he came on, the game was finally balanced at 2-2 and heading into extra time with St Mirren full of confidence. He restored Celtic's lead with a header almost immediately. The whole atmosphere changed. What had felt edgy and uncertain suddenly felt back in Celtic's control. He is not the finished product right now in terms of match sharpness, but big moments in big games are exactly why Celtic brought him in. Sunday was a reminder of what he can offer, and his post afterwards showed exactly where his head is at. A big player stepping up when it mattered, then speaking honestly to the supporters afterwards. You cannot ask for much more than that. In other news, Celtic have their final 5 league fixtures confirmed following the split, and the run-in could hardly be more dramatic for those chasing the title. Here is how the fixtures fall. Falkirk at home on the 25th of April, then Hibernian away on the 3rd of May, Rangers at home on the 10th of May, Motherwell away on the 13th of May, and then Hearts at home on the 16th of May in the final game of the season. 5 games, and almost every one of them carries massive significance. 3 are at Celtic Park, which should be an advantage, but 2 of those home games are against Rangers and Hearts. The final day fixture is particularly huge. Celtic versus Hearts at Celtic Park. If the title race is still alive by then, that game could decide everything. The away trips should not be underestimated either. Hibernian at Easter Road is never straightforward, and Motherwell away comes just 3 days before the final day decider. Managing energy and keeping focus through that quick turnaround will be a real test. What is also fascinating is the scenario where Celtic might already be out of the title race, but their game against Hearts on the final day could still determine whether the trophy goes to Rangers or Hearts. Celtic could yet play kingmaker in this title race even if they do not win it themselves. 5 games, everything is still to play for. Hail, hail. Lastly, Celtic managed to grab the headlines for an entirely different reason on Sunday night when the club's official Japan-based social media account posted content celebrating Erling Haaland and his remarkable goal-scoring season for Manchester City. Yes, you read that correctly. Celtic had just come through one of the most dramatic semi-finals in years. Supporters were still processing the whole rollercoaster of emotions from Hampton, and then the Celtic Japan account appeared on people's timelines talking about a Manchester City striker. The replies came flooding in immediately. Fans questioned whether the account had been hacked. Others simply could not work out what was going on. The post was quickly deleted, but by that point it had already been seen by thousands of people. The most likely explanation is that the Japan account is managed by an outsourced social media team, and they probably look after several football clubs, including Manchester City. Someone accidentally posted the wrong content to the wrong account. An easy mistake to make, but the timing could hardly have been funnier. Celtic are no strangers to this kind of moment. Fans with long enough memories will remember the famous "I ordered the big fish" post from years ago, when a personal photo from an admin's restaurant visit accidentally ended up on the club's official page. That one went viral and became part of Celtic online folklore. This Haaland post is unlikely to reach those legendary heights, but it gave a lot of people a good laugh on an evening that had already put everyone through the emotional ringer. Sometimes you just need to smile. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.